Good afternoon, all. Respected Director, Professor Satish Chandra, our Chief Guest, Shri N.N. Sinha, Secretary, Department of Rural Development, Ministry of Rural Department, our Guest of Honor, Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, DG CSR and Secretary, DSIR, Dr. Anuradha Shukla, Dr. P. Lakshmi, Shri U.K. Guruvittal, Chief Scientist in CRRI, RC Chairman, all RC members, former directors, my present and former colleagues, invitees, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Neelam J. Gupta and it's entirely my pleasure to welcome you all on 69th CRRI Foundation Day celebrations. CRRI was established in 1952. Since then, the institute has grown from strength to strength and is now counted amongst the best civil engineering organization across the globe. May CSR CRRI continue to have more laurels and achieve even more successes in the service of the nation. We are extremely delighted that today we have with us Secretary, Department of Rural Development, Shri N.N. Sinha sir, and Director General CSR and Secretary DSIR, Dr. Shekhar C. Mande sir. We would like to welcome them with flowers. So before I request Director CRRI for his welcome address, I request him to present a virtual bouquet to our esteemed guests. I request Sri Vivek Dubey to please help.
Welcome Jinna ji to this Foundation Day function of
Thank you.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Technology and virtual presentation of the bouquet.
Thank you.
And I also welcome our DG CSIR with a bouquet of flower.
क्या बात है?
Thank you, Vivek.
Sir, you are live now.
Yeah. Respected Shri Sinha ji, Secretary, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India. Respected Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, DG CSIR and Secretary DSIR, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Esteemed members of this council, members of my CSIR family, other guests and friends. First of all, I am extremely thankful to both the dignitaries for accepting my request to grace this occasion. It would have been really a great pleasure to have both of you in Institute in person today, but due to this current situation of pandemic, we are organizing this event virtually. But this in no way undermines the importance of the event. As told by Dr. Neelam, the foundation stone for this institute was laid in 1950 and it became operational in 1952. The mandate of this institute was to carry out fundamental and original research in the area of highway materials. The institute has produced several landmark studies in last 68 years. And just to name a few, during the decade of 60s, a nationwide study of temperature gradient in a concrete pavement was carried out, which resulted in formulation of national guidelines for the design of concrete pavements. And these guidelines are still in use in the country. During 70s, we introduced the concept of mobility plan for a city and carried out comprehensive traffic and transportation studies in the city of Delhi and Bangalore. We also introduced the concept of quality control in highway projects and made a mobile lab which was equipped with all necessary tests at site. This was used in several projects in Delhi and surrounding roads, and now the quality control and quality assurance are the part and parcel of each and every project in India. During 80s, a comprehensive study of road user cost led the formulation of guidelines for economic evaluation of highway projects. In 90s, our scientists demonstrated bulk use of fly ash in the project of approach road to Nizamuddin Bridge in Delhi. During the first decade of this century, CRI partnered with MORD for successful implementation of PMGSY in the country. The institute was chosen as a principal technical agency for providing technical expertise to all states and union territories of India. Several workshops were organized in the institute in association with MORD for mobilizing the state agencies and also to frame the general specifications for construction of rural roads in the country. Development of cold mist technology for rural roads was another important highlight of this decade. The present decade of 2011-2020 also saw a lot of good activities in the institute. We developed indigenous mobile bridge inspection unit, which is now a prerequisite in all NHAI projects. Release of the maiden edition of Highway Capacity Manual for Indian Conditions in February 2018 was another highlight of this decade. Design of nose barriers based on frequency, development of a car driving simulator with driver diagnostics, development of fuel efficiency standards of heavy duty vehicles in India, development of a method for construction of underpasses without disturbing the live traffic, a method for thin cement concrete overlays on bituminous roads are some of the major technologies and products developed during this decade. We expanded our research areas as per the demand of the profession, and today there are 7 R&D divisions covering all areas of highways, geotechnical engineering, traffic and transportation planning, and bridge engineering. The celebration of Foundation Day is basically marking another year of success as well as retrospection for a more fruitful realization of our dreams. Dreams of becoming world leader and to be in the forerunners in helping the nation in its endeavor of creating the world-class highways in the country. There have been several notable works during the last 1 year, and I will mention a few for the information of our chief guest of honor, and other attendees. Ministry of Environment and Forest, under its National Mission of Himalayan Studies, has funded 3 major R&D projects to CRRI. One on impact of changing climate patterns on landslides, the second on sustainable road pavements in high altitude areas, and the third is on safe road connectivity for the state of Tripura in Northeast region. Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has funded a project on corrosion of steel bars in a structure in different environmental conditions. Hindustan Zinc Limited has sponsored 2 projects on utilization of zinc tailing and Gerofix zinc slab in road construction. UPPWD has given a research study to CRI to study the decay in modulus of sub-stabilized layers in flexible pavements. Public Works Department, Government of Kerala has sponsored a very major research project on development of road maintenance management system for Kerala roads. NHAI has sponsored a structural safety audit of bridges underpass with almost 200 structures in Gujarat, 12 in Kerala and 1 in Andhra Pradesh. Projects of structural safety of 17 flyovers in Delhi, safety of Dover Chanti Bridge in Uttarakhand, bridge over river Godami in Andhra Pradesh, and Sastri Bridge in Mirzapur are also going on the institute. Gujarat Metro Rail Corporation has sponsored a comprehensive noise and vibration studies for Ahmedabad Metro. Petroleum Conservation Research Association has sponsored a study on traffic circulation plan around 5 metro stations in Delhi and their impact on fuel consumption and emissions. We are preparing comprehensive mobility plan for cities like Noida and Ahmedabad, and also internal traffic circulation plan for a cement plant in Jharkhand. One of our younger scientists is working on drone-based inspection of and monitoring of bridges, and there are several other projects of national importance going on in the institute. Our scientists are regularly involved in the projects of premature failure of payments, recycling and use of RAP, and helping the field engineers by providing solutions to their problem. CRI has developed in-house capacity for carrying out road safety audit of highways and is involved in several such projects sponsored by NHAI and the state governments of UP, Haryana, Bihar, Delhi and Chhattisgarh. Our institute is authorized by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways for testing and issue of quality certificate for manufacturing of high security registration plates. Now, during this period of pandemic also, CRI has risen to the occasion and we developed a Kisan Sabha app for helping the farmers to sell their produce at correct price. It was remotely launched on May 1st by Dr. Trilochan Mohapatra, DG ICR, in the presence of our DG CSIR. We conducted 6 webinars during lockdown period, which were well attended by the participants in large numbers. We prepared a document on public transport and feeder modes with social distancing norms, which was released by Dr. Harshvardhan Ji, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, on May 4, 2020. During this period, we have signed 10 agreements and MOUs with different agencies. 2 patents have been filed during last 1 year, and one of them was the outcome of a FTT project completed in CRRI. Our training programs are extremely popular, and one program on road safety audit has been recognized by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways and NHAI as a certificate course for field engineers. And this year has been very special as we conducted 35 training programs, and out of these 20 programs were for Ministry of Rural Development for their engineers associated with PMGSY. With the support from CSIR and hard work of our scientists and other technical staff, and through facilitation by our administration, finance and purchase section, we could generate an external cash flow of 32.79 crore during financial year 1920, which is the highest ever in CRRI. Sir, with this background, I welcome you all to 69th Foundation Day of CSIR CRRI. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat and Jai CSIR. Now, before I invite Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, DG CSIR and Secretary CSIR for his address, I would request Dr. P. Lakshmi, Chief Scientist, to please introduce Dr. Mande to the attendees.
Namaskar. Thank you, Professor Satish Chandra, Honorable Director, CSIR CRRI, for giving me this opportunity to introduce DG CSIR and Secretary, Government of India, Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, who is the Chief Guest of Honor of today's Foundation Day function. On this Foundation Day of CSIR CRRI, we are fortunate and blessed to have the august presence of Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, DG CSIR and Science Secretary, Government of India amongst us. Though he needs no introduction to scientific community, it will be my privilege to introduce him so that we can get inspired from his amazing research journey. After graduation and post-graduation in physics from Nagpur University, he pursued PhD at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore in molecular biophysics during 1984 to 1991, was a postdoctoral fellow at University of Groningen, Netherlands during 91-92, and senior research fellow at University of Washington during 92-95. He worked with Institute of Microbial Technology, CSIR IMT, Chandigarh, as Scientist C during 95 to 2001, served Center for DNA Fingerprinting and Diagnostics, Hyderabad during 2001 to 2011 as staff scientist. Dr. Shekhar Mande was Director of National Center for Cell Science, Pune during 2011 to 2018, before he resumed office as DG CSIR and Science Secretary in October 2018. He has carried out seminal research in the area of protein structure and function, biology of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, probed through structural analysis of proteins, and various biophysical and biochemical approaches, application of graph theory to large-scale protein interaction networks, and computational methods to analyze large-scale biological data. Though he is a recipient of many awards and honors, in the interest of time, I am listing some of the prominent ones. Early in his career, Dr. Mande was felicitated with PM Birla Young Scientist Award in 1999. Subsequently, he was elected as Fellow of National Academy of Sciences and Indian Academy of Sciences during 2003 and was awarded prestigious Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize for Biological Sciences in 2005. His most recent achievements include Bharat Asmita Tantra Vigyan Puraskar in 2019. Without further delay, I now request Dr. Shekhar C. Mande to enlighten us with his precious words of wisdom.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lakshmi Parmeshwaran-ji. Our chief guest today, Shri Sinha ji, Secretary Rural Development, Dr. Satish Chandra, Director CRRI, all colleagues, friends, family of CRRI, Delhi. At the outset, let me congratulate all of you on the 69th Foundation Day of CRRI. I've been told that during a conference of chief engineers of provinces and states, there's a conference that was held in 1943. That was just after CSIR itself came into being. All of us know that CSIR came into being on 26 September 1942 and was the first R&D organization in the country to be supported by the public funds. The CRRI idea which germinated in that particular conference in 1943, and as Professor Satish Chandra told us, it was established in 1952. The thought of CRRI establishment itself was way ahead of its time, and CRRI has proven over the years with very valuable contributions in many different areas to the country, whether be it payment of engineering and materials, geotechnical engineering, bridges and instrumentation engineering, traffic engineering and road safety, transportation planning and environment, road development, and many, many more. Many of us know that even recently, when government was looking to use the waste generated in cities or in rural areas, such as that in Ghazipur, CRRI was chosen as one of the partner institutes to use the Ghazipur dump and use that dump into road construction. That project has not taken off for whatever reason, but nonetheless, the first thought anyone would like to do anything with the roads, it always with the CRRI that people think of. It has played a very important role in preparation of national standards for specifications, code of practices issued by Indian Road Congress, Bureau of Indian Standards, Ministry of Roads, Transport and Highways, and National Rural Development Agency, and so on and so forth. So we are very proud of CRRI being a part of the CSIR family. Let me say that we are living in very difficult times, and it has made very drastic changes in our lives, including the seminar today that we have. It would have been our pleasure to have Sinha ji physically in CRRI today, but because of the changing times, we are all meeting in the cyberspace. But I do hope that as soon as normalcy returns, Sri Sinha ji would take time off and come to CRRI for a visit to see what actually happens there. Now, CSIR is playing a very important role in the mitigation of COVID-19, and you would have heard from my lectures I have given here and there that we are working on 5 different verticals, and we are trying to fight the virus at every different stages, whether it be by drugs and vaccines, or by providing masks and sanitizers, or preparing PPEs, or even designing new kind of ventilators, and so on and so forth. Our new diagnostic test that is being launched by Tata Sons will be launched within a week or so, and another new diagnostic test will be launched by Reliance Industries very soon. So we are very proud that in the times of difficulty such as this, the whole CSIR family has stood up and delivered to the nation what was expected of very high-end R&D in the S&T domain. Now, while we do this, I would like to appeal to CRRI family that for this context, it's very important that we all must maintain the highest level of discipline, and we must actually make sure that we defeat the virus in the best way that we can. And the discipline that is required is to maintain distance from each other. And anytime that we step out of the house, we must wear masks. No member of CSR family should get out of the house without wearing a mask. And that's a practice that we must follow on our own so that we set a standards for others to follow us. Even in the labs, the discipline is required to deliver projects in time in this even unprecedented times. Being a scientific community, we must continue our scientific endeavors, including field work, by taking all due precautions. You know, I mean, the times are difficult, but doesn't mean that we should stop our work, and we must continue our delivery for what we have been known for over the years. CRRI has nurtured and developed very highly qualified scientific and technical power to the country to undertake activities in interdisciplinary areas. At this stage, I urge all the CRI scientists to give their best within CSIR instead of looking for opportunities here and there. Now, very often what happens is that in S&T domain, unlike in many other fields of endeavors, we develop ability into a very narrow but a very focused and deep expertise in that area. And that is the trust that public gives us in developing that particular expertise in that, although apparently narrow, but very deep expertise in that area. And all of us realize here that the areas that we are working in, if we look at our colleagues across the country, we will hardly find 2 or 3 or at best 10 or 15 colleagues in the country who have developed that kind of an expertise. So although therefore it appears at times very attractive to go to other places, for example on deputation, that expertise would be lost despite having been trained by the public trust in the institutes like CRRI or an organization like CSIR. So we must actually refrain from this kind of things, although we must help other organizations also in synergy. If anyone wants our help in any of the expertise that we develop, we must come forward and develop that synergy with other organizations, but by being a part of our own organization itself. What I appeal to CRRI colleagues and the family today is essentially to stand up once again in all the kind of things that we have been doing in recent times. I'm very proud that CRRI's recent contributions such as the JCB pothole repair machine, I was a witness to that. I'm very proud that CRRI was the first institute that the principal scientific advisor to Government of India thought about to involve waste utilization. I'm very proud that CRRI has developed and upscaled smart and innovative parking solutions. I'm very proud that I have myself witnessed the sound barrier technology transfer by CRRI to a partner in Mumbai. All these are actually very, very good contributions of CRRI. In the COVID-19 mitigation also, we have used one of the innovations by CRRI, and that is the Kisan Sabha app that CRRI has prepared. And I believe today more than 50,000 downloads have already been obtained in this particular app. And the app is extraordinarily useful, which connects farmers on one side and the transporters on the other. So I'm very proud of CRRI contributions in recent time, but I would like to appeal that in the difficult times, we must once again rise up together as a community and deliver to the nation what is expected of us. I don't want to take too much of more time of you. We are all eager to hear Shri Sinha Ji, our chief guest today, and I'm very pleased that he has accepted our invitation. And I do hope that he will find time in coming few months to come and visit us at CRRI. Thank you all very much. Jai Hind.
I thank Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, DGCSAR, for your inspiring address, sir. Dear colleagues, today we are very lucky to have Shri Nagendranath Sinha Ji, Secretary, Department of Rural Development, as our chief guest. It's a great honor and a privilege for me to introduce and welcome him. Shri Sinha Ji is an Indian Administrative Service Officer of Jharkhand Cadre 1987 batch. He is currently Secretary, Department of Rural Development, Government of India, In his long career in the government, Sri Sinhaji has held many key positions, namely Secretary Border Management, Ministry of Home Affairs, Chairman, National Highways Authority of India, Managing Director, National Highways and Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited, etc. As Additional Chief Secretary, Rural Development Department, Government of Jharkhand, he played a pivotal role for creating sustainable livelihood and employment opportunities for the rural poor and development based on natural resource management. During his stint in the state government, Sri Sinhaji has served in major departments including PWD, Mines, Industry, IT, among others. Presently, as Secretary to Department of Rural Development, Government of India, Sri Sinhaji is responsible for welfare activities aimed at poverty eradication in rural areas and involved in overall development strategy for the country. He is directly guiding the implementation of major flagship schemes of the government like Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gramin Kaushalya Yojana, etc. Sri Sinhaji is an engineering graduate, BTech Electrical from IIT Kanpur with a MSc degree in Health Sciences from Johns Hopkins University. His major interests are in the field of sustainable development, information technology, infrastructure, health and institution building. Today, we are privileged to have an opportunity to listen to him on the occasion of CSIR CRRI Foundation Day. On the behalf of all gathered here in this online function, I request Sinha sir to deliver Foundation Day lecture.
Thank you very much for me be the guest on the occasion of 69th Foundation Day of the CRRI. Dr. Mande, the DGCSIR and the Secretary DSIR, Professor Satish Chandra and his colleagues and members of the Council of the CRRI. I've been no stranger to this CRRI, having been with the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways for almost 3 years in various capacities. And I've been to the premises of the CRRI, and I've seen the stellar work done by him. And in this galaxy of eminent scientists and researchers, and having heard Director CRRI and DGCSIR, I need not preach to them, but rather tell them what the journey of the rural roads has been, and in the process draw your attention to some of the key issues that we are facing and some of the key achievements that have been made. And I must confess that the CRRI has been part of this journey. So let me take you to this part of the journey. As you are aware that the rural roads, as is generally understood, if you take the total length of the rural roads, it's about 4 million kilometers of the total road length of the nation, which is around 5.5 million kilometers. The national highways and the state highways measure something like 1.5 lakh kilometers, and then you have other roads. Out of which the component that the Department of Rural Development is catering to and with other partners and collaborators, about 7 to 8 lakh kilometers. These lengths are very important. We have seen various studies conducted on the impact of the rural roads. So we had a World Bank study which mentioned, which found out it improves the mobility for the employment, it improves the trade diversification, it expands the economic opportunities, and also 2015, there was a study by Heidelberg University which said that for every kilometer of length built, road length built, about 0.5 less days of illness were there. In October 2016, there was this study by ILO which found out that having roads, improved roads, improves the cultivation choices. It helps the diversification of occupation. It improves the hygiene and sanitation. And then several such findings. In 2018, there was another study which mentioned that the participation of women increased in the labor force by about 5%. There were 8% more crops brought to the market. Another significant finding was that about 0.7 more years of schooling was there for the primary school and so forth. So the upshot of all the data that I mentioned is that the rural roads are very important for the region, and doing that, although it may not make economic sense and it may not be economically or financially viable, but it is very important for the nation for taking on them on the path of the development journey. Connectivity of any kind, whether of electronic connectivity or the highway connectivity or the air connectivity or the railway connectivity, is important for taking the development process. So therefore, the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, when it was visualized by the then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, has been a milestone in the nation's development, and till now, through various phases of the Pradhan Mantri Gram Mantri, and there have been interventions for strategically important roads in the left-wing affected areas. By all these schemes, we have built approximately 6.3 lakh kilometers, and about 50,000 meters of roads are under construction. Under PMGSY 3, there would be another 1.25 lakh kilometers of roads. We are also thinking if it would be possible to persuade the government to connect all the habitations of the country which have population of or more with all-weather connectivity in the near future. But that's a thought. That's a announcement in the Sankalp Patra of the government. But let's see, we are in take on that program. One key issue is how this has been possible is because the PMGSY to develop a very streamlined process of the DPR preparation, its scrutiny, the approval, the management, monitoring, quality control, and in all of this, CRRI has played a stellar role. We have been quite instrumental in use of new technology. In 2013, the Ministry of Road Transport came out with guidelines which promoted locally available materials and marginal materials, as well as other IRC accredited new materials and technologies for use in the road construction. And you would be very happy to know that 15% of our roads are built using this. So 10% are of these are technology for which the IRC specifications are available, and 5% of the technologies for which IRC specifications are not available. However, they are accredited by the IRC. And in fact, our roads serve as the pilots laboratory for proving the benefit and the potentialities and the problems with those new technologies. So as of now, we have sanctioned about 66,000 kilometers of roads using these technologies. And out of which 7 kilometers have one day that nowhere in the country, even in the north, which is considered to be the Makkah of the highway development, they have taken resort to so much use of the new technologies and the use of locally and marginal materials. So I'm very happy that our ministry has been spearheading this movement. And this movement is guided both the desire to introduce new technologies so that our bouquet for construction of highways is widened, broadened as much as possible, as well as the fact of that use of new technologies can bring. And why this is very, I should mention, from two considerations principally. One is that even when we have been able to connect about 7 lakh kilometers of village roads, rural roads with all-weather connectivity, there are still about 33 lakh kilometers of roads which are not yet connected. And how do we connect them? That's a challenge that remains, and we have to address that. And the other important issue is that how do we ensure the cost of maintenance comes down? As the maintenance remains a hurdle, because from the central ministry we are contributing to the capital expenditure. How but the maintenance, the states are often found short of the necessary resources for undertaking maintenance. This because of the large bouquet of roads that we have built. At this moment, the maintenance liability every year is about 8,000 crores, whereas by 2025 we estimate that it will rise up to around 19,000 kilometers because of the large lengths that we have built under PMGSY. So the issue of maintenance and necessity for bringing down the cost of maintenance, increasing period between 2 rounds of maintenance is very important, and I request the CRRI to work with us to ensure that the maintenance cycles become longer, the maintenance costs come down. I should tell you that we have not been sitting on this major part. So contractually, the maintenance defect liability period for the projects and the contracts that we entered into is for 5 years, in which maintenance is part of the contract. We insist now in the PMGSY 3 that 6-year renewal code would buy these. We have come out with a application called eMark, which is performance-based contracting of the maintenance expenditures. That's also developed so that based on the evaluation of the highway performance or the road performance, the maintenance is paid. So if a contractor has done its work well, then it may have to incur minimal expenditure on the maintenance, and it can receive the maintenance payment because these are based on the performance. So this through this app we have been able to spend around 15 crores, and we hope that most states will adopt and they will make maintenance payment using the performance-based contracting for the maintenance. However, the issue of bringing down the maintenance expenditure by better workmanship, by better materials remains, and in that the role of the CIRRI will be very important. One of the important achievements of the PMGSYDA application of the ICT in the monitoring, maintenance of the rural areas. So one of the important monitoring tools is the OMMS, which is for the monitoring and management and accounting of the accounting system of the PMGSY. So 100% of reports, sanction, accounting, transactional data entry, etc. is done. Then you have the I have already mentioned about the eMarg. One of the important things, important achievements of the ICT journey of the Ministry of Rural Development has been the large-scale digitization that it has done for the entire road network. So we have the GIS coordinates of all the roads that we have.
Synergy, you become mute. Synergy, you become mute.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So you would be very happy to know that different states, when they submit proposals for PMGSY 3, using network, this digitized network that we have, are able to find out if somebody is trying to propose roads which are the network, they're just substituting one length for the other. So we have been able to detect if proposal is just within 500 meter of the earlier built network. So we can do this origin destination analysis and simulate traffic on the candidate PMGSY 3 and then rank them using the utility for serving the clientele for the PMGSY 3, which is for the Grameen agriculture markets, the higher secondary schools and the hospitals. So how much these roads cater to those needs, and I'm actually quite happy in the sense that even in the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, these kind of applications have not been developed. Therefore, even when we are planning greenfield links, these are more to do with hunch-based decisions and some kind of qualitative decisions rather than numerically quantitative decisions to guide these applications. So the PMGSY 3 and the NRIDA have developed tools which can, I would venture to say, revolutionize the transport planning in the country, and if CRRI takes lead, these tools can also be shared and exported and with the global community as well. So this is extremely cool, and I think CRRI can work with us. Then we have the various issues for development of skills in the GIS or the engineers in this sector. We are now developing eDPR, which would digitize the key components of the DPR and give feedback on treatment and cost. So we have collected about more than 1 lakh payment conditions pictures and training model, kind of building a AI kind of a system which will predict what kind of treatment is required for a given type of highway condition. I think these are areas in which CRI can also collaborate with NRIDA and work on a work out a system which can become very handy for the entire nation. The next area which I would come in my talk, how to ensure that the cost of construction is reduced. As I mentioned to you that we have about 33 lakh kilometers of highways still to be taken up, and I don't think we would in a position ever to connect all these habitations, all these village roads through a all-weather network, given the constraint of resources in the foreseeable period. What we can certainly do is to stabilize the pavement so that even though they may not provide as much smoothness of traffic, yet they can service the traffic that lies on them reasonably well. So this is one area where we can certainly work, and in this again the role of the CRRI would be very critical. And in fact, why only CRI? In fact, entire CSIR network would be very critical, because the other laboratories of the CSIR also bring complementary strength in material sciences and chemistry, etc. So all of it together can bring out new materials, new treatment methods, etc., and which could help bring down the cost of construction. We have some thoughts on this, and I would be very glad if NRIDA and CRRI under the entire umbrella of the CSIR works together to bring down the cost of construction, cost of maintenance, and what we call the entire life cycle cost of the rural road network. The last point which I would like to address is we have involved the community in the planning of roads, in design, in the selection of roads, in assessment of the social impacts, also involved during the implementation. So we in that the community is also involved in throughout the implementation process, so that the product finally that comes out is what meets the needs of the community and minimizes the impact on it, and it improves the sustainability of the product. What we have to realize is that more time we spend on the planning of the network, the more time we spend on the investigation of the product, the lesser time that we will be needed in the implementation of the project, the more efficiency that we will be able to bring in the implementation, and more efficient cost-wise it will be. So, involvement of the community is critical, and I'm sure CRRI can also help us guide how do we head in this process. So we have a lot of ideas which we have incorporated in our program guidelines, but the highway is an area on which everybody is an expert. CRRI at the forefront of it certainly knows much more than many of us, and many the so-called experts. So their role would be extremely critical. Having said all that, what I needed to tell on the work that the Ministry of Road Transport, Ministry of Rural Development is doing, I also would like to offer some solicited and some unsolicited advice to the CRRI. Sir, the role that CRRI is playing in the development of world-class highway network and world-class transportation network is extremely important within the country, and your role has been universally recognized. Yet, we cannot claim that the network that we have is really that world-class. In fact, we need several notches higher. And your role now, as it has been earlier, in taking our infrastructural journey forward quickly, swiftly, and more qualitatively will become very important. And in terms of the working methods, in terms of materials, in terms of use of ICT, and in terms of our being able to devise various standards, US standards or EU standards or Australian standards, or also ensuring that our industry is world-class, competitive, and is able to not only do good work within the country, but also do good work outside the country and globally. So how do we bring about those kind of collaboration so that our industry is enabled to compete cost-wise, technology-wise, quality-wise, performance-wise, delivery? Those are critical, and let's hope that you will display the same kind of leadership. The third thought which I have is use of ICT, and you yourself and Dr. Mande spoke about Kisan Seva app. But I think the world of ICT is moving very fast. The CRRI has to be at the front of the ICT to make best use of it, and take our industry, take our country at the forefront of the highway technology. So while we should be in a position to visualize what would be the condition of highways if we are building a tunnel, say underneath it. So we should be in a position to simulate those kind of conditions. We should be in a position to simulate the tunneling conditions. We should be in a position to know the underlying geological layers. All of that, which are the engineering challenges that come up, and you are much more aware than what I have been. My exposure to the highway sector has been fleeting. ACI have been at it for more than 60 years, more than 65 years, touching 70 years. So you know what are the areas in which you can be at the forefront of the ICT boom and serve our industry, serve our nation, and be at the forefront of the international community in terms of the use of ICT in the highway sector. One last area which I would like to mention is that CRRI is an island of excellence. First, this island of excellence should also build other pockets of excellence in the Indian universities and in our system as well. So how do we ensure that the CRRI builds linkages with other universities, other research institutions, other centers, and as much important for the CRRI as much for the nation as well? Because if you are good and you are able to catalyze goodness and quality and experience in other centers, as a nation we develop, and the benefit is us as a nation. With these words, I thank Dr. Chandra, CRRI, and the CRRI community for hearing recently, giving me this privilege of expressing and articulating my thoughts. Hope I was not pedantic and I made some sensible comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights and valuable suggestions to CRRI and CSIR as well. We have taken note of it. Thank you so much, sir. As a part of Foundation Day celebrations, the Institute would wish to felicitate our guests. I request Director CRRI to present a virtual memento to our Chief Guest, Shri N.N. Sinha, sir, and to our Guest of Honor, Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, sir, as a token of love and appreciation. Shri Vivek, may please help.
Sir, we will deliver this memento to your office very soon. But today we are doing virtually only. And another one for our DGCSIR. In fact, yeah. Thank you, Vivek.
Now I invite Dr. Anuradha Shukla, Chief Scientist, CRRI, to propose a vote of thanks.
Thanks, Dr. Neelam. Honorable Chief Guest Shri Nagendra Nath Sinha, Secretary, Ministry of Rural Development. Respected Guest of Honor, Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, DG CSIR and Secretary DSIR. Respected Professor Satish Chandra, Director CRRI. Guests, invitees, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to propose vote of thanks on this occasion of 69th Foundation Day of CRRI. I, on behalf of CRRI and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to our Chief Guest, Shri N.N. Sinha ji, for taking time from his busy schedule and gracing the occasion with his excellent and enlightening address and highlighting the areas where CRRI can contribute. Thank you, sir. I may like to express our sincere thanks to Guest of Honor, Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, for his inspiring words, and we appreciate and are proud of his dynamic leadership, which has taken CSIR to greater heights. We would also like to express our gratitude to Professor Satish Chandra for his constant support, encouragement, and motivation. We also extend our thanks to Dr. P. Lakshmi and Dr. U.K. Guruvittal, our colleagues. We are thankful to our very motivated and dedicated colleagues of CRRI, Dr. Neelam J. Gupta and Mr. Vivek Dubey and their teams for successfully organizing this event. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the invitees, Research Council members, RC Chairman, retired CRRI fraternity for joining us on this occasion. We now close the function. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.